guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be doing another Let's Not Meet story time. So I'm going to be reading two stories that I found on Reddit. So I have permission from both of these authors to read their stories and I'm really excited. So let's just jump on into it. So this one is Confused My Stalker Ex with Slenderman at 3 a.m. Hi again, it's Jenny. I had a very abusive relationship with my daughter's biological father, so when we ended things, I was pretty traumatized by the whole thing. I also have some crazy stories about this if you want to hear them. I do. Anyway, eventually, I met this guy who we'll call Evan. He worked in the same building with me, but at a different shop. He came to the restaurant quite often, and I was usually the one to take his orders. He was nice and very polite all the time. My coworkers would tell me that it seemed like he had a crush on me, but I wasn't ready for another relationship. Plus, I didn't think anyone would want me because I was pregnant. He eventually ended up confirming my coworkers' theories and said that he didn't mind it that I was pregnant, that he really liked me and wanted to at least be friends. I said okay and gave him my number. We started talking almost every day and he was really nice. He would bring me food to work all the time, he'd buy me little gifts, he would wait for me after his shift was over and then wait for my mom to pick me up after work so I wouldn't wait for her alone. I wasn't used to the attention, and honestly, I was very hormonal due to the pregnancy, so I just loved the fact that he was so sweet. Eventually, we started sort of dating. It was never official, but he would go to my house often, he met my mom and the rest of my family, would bring my mom flowers every time he visited and helped her cook. Everyone loved him. However, as I was nearing my due date, I told him that I didn't think we could keep it going after the baby was born because I wasn't going to be able to give him the attention he deserved since I was going to be pretty busy with the baby. He begged me not to end anything. He said he understood and was fine with me only texting him once or twice a day to let him know that we were okay and that whenever he visited, he would help with the baby and bring her diapers and such. I wasn't too comfortable with the idea, but he was just so sweet and I felt bad for telling him no. My baby was born a month early, right on the day that I was scheduled to have my baby shower. So it had to be canceled. I was so overwhelmed with everything that I forgot my phone at home before we rushed to the hospital, and no one had told him what had happened. He was very upset and had already gone to the place where I was going to be having the baby shower, and nobody was there. But he said it was fine, and he was just glad we were okay. I went home with my baby and was so in love with her, but tired all the time. So I literally texted him like once a week maybe, because I didn't have time or even want to be on my phone. He called me at some point and was really upset about me not communicating with him. I got really mad because he had no right to demand more time from me since I had already told him that this would happen. So I told him to just leave me alone and stop messaging me because I was done. At this point, I realized that I was just super hormonal and the sweetness was just him being creepy and way too clingy. So I deleted him off my social media. The same day, my mom said she was spending the night at her boyfriend's and to call if I needed anything, which meant I'd be home alone with my baby and my younger brother. I fell asleep sitting down on my bed holding my baby because she had been spitting up a lot and I was scared she would choke. I woke up around 3 a.m. and the first thing I saw was a tall and slim figure of a man standing outside my window. I freaked out immediately. And in my tired and sleep-deprived state, I thought Slenderman was standing there watching me. Don't judge, okay? I was running on like 3 hours of sleep in 2 days. I snapped out of it when I saw the man waving his arms in the air to make sure I noticed him. I grabbed my phone to call 911 and got a call from Evan. I answered and told him I needed to hang up because there was somebody outside my window and I was going to call the police. He stopped me and said it was him, that he had been messaging me and calling me all day, and since I wasn't answering, he decided to come by and make sure I was okay. I immediately started yelling at him and told him to leave before the cops showed up because I was going to call them and say I didn't know him. He started sobbing on the phone, asking me to not be mad and not to leave him, that he loved me and wanted to be with me. I hung up on him and called the cops anyway and told them there was a man peeking through my window. They said that they'd be there in 7 minutes and asked me to stay on the line. But of course my phone died in the middle of it. I went to the front of the house and saw that he was now standing by the door. I told him the cops were on the way and he needed to leave, but I was very careful not to wake my baby or my brother. By the time the cops showed up, he was gone. When they asked if I knew who he was, I said no. I don't know why. That was very stupid of me, but I guess I didn't want to make it any bigger than it had to. They took my statement and told me to call back if I felt unsafe or saw the person again, then left. I didn't see him or hear from him after that. I blocked him on everything and changed my phone number shortly after, and I moved somewhere else for a few months. I went back to work at the restaurant about a year later. My boss told me that he had quit his job there a few months after I had, and that he would tell people that the baby was his and that we had gotten married. So weird. I eventually met someone else while working there, but this time around, I was actually ready for a serious relationship, and we're getting married soon. So, yay me. After dealing with crappy men, I finally found a good man. Thanks for reading. So, that's a lot to unpack. So, he definitely was a little bit clingy, definitely really creepy, and there's a lot of red flags there, honestly. I don't really know what I would do in that situation, because that is really, really, really creepy, especially if you already told him like, hey, this isn't going to work out after the baby is born. But I'm so glad it worked out in the end, and I'm glad that you're with somebody that you're actually happy with and that he finally left you alone. So the next story is almost kidnapped from my dorm. So back in 2014, when I was a freshman in college, I was no stranger to late night shenanigans and drunken escapades of the weekend. A sober friend of mine would always drop me back off at the parking lot by my dorm building, and I would have to walk about 100 yards to the door of the 12-story building I stayed in and let myself in with a key fob before getting to the elevators. Most nights, I didn't or wasn't 100% capable of paying attention to my surroundings. But one night in particular, my hair was standing on end and something felt off. As I struggled in my heels through the grass, this was just enough to cut through the Jello shot-induced haze as I instinctively grabbed my key fob from my pocket and picked up the pace a little. It was at this point that I noticed a man off to my right, standing alone by the dining hall, twice as far east as I was south of the dorm. He was standing still, staring in my direction, and his head seemed to be following my movement as I trucked closer to safety. It was very dark, and he was wearing his hood up over his head, not smoking a cigarette, not talking on his cell phone, just hanging out in the dark where he could barely be seen. I took off running when I realized he was watching me, and gripping the key fob for dear life, and in my terror I could hear the pounding of his footsteps as he ran to cut me off before I got to the front door. I'm not sure how I did it, but my heart pounding in my ears and the adrenaline pushing me along, I got to my entrance just enough to unlock the door, run inside, and quickly pull the glass door shut behind me. It was at this point I allowed myself to take another look at the man, since there was a door separating us now. He wasn't very tall, maybe 5'8", with an athletic build hidden below the bulk of his hooded sweatshirt. He was wearing a black bandana around his face, pre-pandemic, with the hood up around his head, so all I could see of him was his eyes and the silver of skin around them. He had stopped dead in his tracks, no more than 15 to 20 feet from the door, that now stood closed between us. He held my gaze for what felt like eternity before turning and running off in the direction of the parking lot, where I'm sure he had a vehicle waiting. I made a statement to the campus police with the help of my RA, but there wasn't much they could do since no crime was committed, and I couldn't really describe him. Needless to say, I slept with a deadbolt on my door for weeks after and avoiding being out around the dorm past dark. So to the guy who almost kidnapped me in my dorm building in the middle of the night, let's not meet again. Oh my god, I think I forgot to say that in the first video. So Evan, let's not meet again. But these videos were just really short videos that I wanted to come on here and quickly read with you guys because they were really creepy and I just thought that they were really good. So I wanted to share them with you, and that is so creepy. I don't know what I would do in that situation. If somebody was chasing me and I had to run into my dorm building and slam the door shut so he couldn't get to me, there is no way I wouldn't have immediately called the police right then and there. There is no way I probably would have confronted him myself, because that's just who I am. I probably would have went out there and yelled at him. But I mean, I'm kind of dumb in that situation because when I'm mad, my brain turns off and I just get mad. So I probably would have died in that situation. But I'm glad you got to safety. I'm glad you got inside. I'm glad that you spoke to your RA and called the police, because there is no way somebody should be allowed to do that. And there's no crime committed. He chased you into your building. If that's not a crime, I don't know what that is. That's fucking creepy and not okay. But these were just some quick stories that I wanted to quickly jump on here and read with you guys today, because I felt like sharing some more Let's Not Meet stories, and it's been a while since I've done any paranormal or Let's Not Meet story time, so I just wanted to quickly jump on here. So if you guys have any stories that you want to share with me or want me to read on my channel, please let me know in the comments down below, or email me or message me on my socials, and I will definitely read them with you guys and for you guys. And I just love doing these. These videos are so much fun, and I'm in my spooky attire and I'm just feeling spooky in February. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye!